Hi everybody. I thought I'd put together a real quick video on the first step of making a Frankenskirt, and that of course is to separate your two recycled sari skirt layers. For some reason my phone doesn't have the flip feature, so I'm recording this blind, and then I'm just going to move my phone around to where you can see me working, doing my seam ripping. Please like this video and subscribe down below, and the reason for that is if I get a certain amount of subscribers, then Facebook allows me to make extended, longer videos. And certainly if I ever get to do a Darn Good Yarn warehouse tour, that would call for a long video. So without further ado, let me flip my phone around and set it up to my skirt. Let's see. Line it up. There's my working area. So starting with your skirt, a couple layers you want to take apart. I have a beautiful pastel layer set aside for this teal or turquoise and purple, and then I have a nice green layer set aside already and waiting for this green layer. So even though these aren't horrible together, I have some better layers in mind. So there we go, get a little focus going on. I'm not going to be seam ripping through my phone. I'm actually going to be looking below my phone, so hopefully I can keep this in frame. I had a seam ripper that was probably 40 years old, and when I rip skirts it took me quite a long time. Finally I went out and spent $5, $5 whole dollars at the grocery store, bought a new seam ripper, and now I can take apart a skirt in about 20 minutes, maybe even less. I don't go very fast. I start by picking the edge of the ties. I start by just taking some of these stitches out of the belt, and then in a second here I will be aiming at where the layers come together. Nope, not yet. Something else is still holding fast here, so there we go. They do a really good job with the edges here holding them together, and that's what we want, because certainly when you're tying your bow there's a lot of stress on these ties, so I am thankful that they put a little extra care into keeping them together. Okay, now I can see my stitches. So once you get that opened up and you're just working on these, where these two layers come together, it actually detaches it nicely from the belt too. Take your time, you don't want to stab yourself. Oh, they're still tight in there. Yep, look at that, they went back and forth, back and forth. Good job. Take a look on the back side. Maybe I'll have better luck getting in there. I am not going to make you look at me run the whole gamut all the way up to a buttonhole. When we get to the buttonhole, I'll show you I do something a little different than everyone else, and I'll explain it when we get there. So there we go. Now I have the two layers. So what I do is I just pull those stitches, give a little tug, rip them, give a little tug, and this is the part that actually goes very fast. For some reason, if I catch all these threads here, pulling it apart like this, pulling it apart like a sandwich, it actually detaches it from the waistband too. So this part goes super fast. Zippity-doo-dah. kind of pull them tight so I can get to these threads, and just one getting under these two sections does it. So yeah, so that goes pretty fast. I have already worked the other end clear up to the first buttonhole, and that's the tricky part. When you get to the buttonholes, what they do is they stitch, and the buttonhole actually comes down into typically both layers of the skirt. So I've already worked to that area. Now a lot of people, what they'll do is they will get their very sharp scissors out, and they will very, very carefully cut around here on the outer layer, or excuse me, on the long layer. They will cut around the buttonhole. I've never felt a need to do that. I don't go out of my way to try to keep the layers attached, or the waistband attached. So I have no problem just kind of picking the stitches around the buttonhole. And as you can see, the stitches, there you go, they're capturing both sides. So it doesn't take very long, probably the amount of time it would take me to walk away and get some scissors and come back and cut the long layer. I can have them picked apart. You want to be very careful. It's going to be super tight in this area, so you don't want to stab yourself. You just want to identify those stitches and break them. You want to also be gentle with the fabric. You don't want to rip the fabric anymore. I mean, there we go. So again, I'm trying to release this green layer from buttonhole. And there you go, it's done. So again, some people, when it's attached to the buttonhole, they just cut around the buttonhole. But I pick the stitches and off I go. There you go. Back to pulling them apart. When I get to the next buttonhole, I'll be doing the same thing. So there's not really a whole lot else I need to show you. That's how you detach the skirts. Some people like it and they cut around the long layer because they want to keep the waistband attached to the short layer. That doesn't bother me so much because I'm always going to, be fiddling with it when I reattach it. The notches for the buttonholes with the new skirt layer are probably not going to match, or excuse me, the new added layer are probably not going to match anyway. So it doesn't bother me that I have my skirts, the waistband detached. Okay, well, you don't need to see me do this for hours, so you folks have a good day. Enjoy the nice weather while we have it, and happy skirt ripping and happy Frankenskirt making. I'm really excited. The layer I have going with this purple and turquoise is going to be a lovely floral. So I think that'll be a nice little mini, something that I had in my grouping. So have a great day, people, and enjoy your skirts. Wear the skirts. Bye-bye.